Ever felt like you're doing everything right, yet success remains elusive? You're not alone. Studies show that a staggering 92% of people fail to achieve their goals. But here's the kicker. It's not due to lack of talent, it's often because of unseen barriers we unknowingly set for ourselves. In this video, we're going to uncover these hidden pitfalls and, more importantly, how you can sidestep them to join the successful 8%. Ready to transform your approach and achieve what you've always aimed for? Let's dive in. You want to know the scariest part about failure? Most people don't even know they're failing. They wake up, check their phone, sip some coffee,
maybe cross something off their to-do list, and they feel productive. But here's the truth. 92% of people never actually achieve the goals they set for themselves. That's not an opinion. That's real data. And the worst part? A lot of them think they're on track. Why? Because we confuse activity with progress. Reading 10 productivity books? That feels like momentum. But did anything change in your life after that? Or spending hours researching a business idea, then never launching anything? That's just disguised procrastination. It's like running on a treadmill. You're sweating, you're moving, but you're not going anywhere. And look, I'm not judging. I've done it too. That feeling of, I'm doing something, so I must be improving. But real progress? It's uncomfortable. It looks like putting yourself out there, failing publicly, repeating boring, consistent actions day after day. And that's exactly why most people don't even realize they're stuck. Because they're busy, but they're not moving forward. So here's the wake-up call. If your actions today don't directly move the needle toward your biggest goal, you're not progressing. You're just being busy. And recognizing that, being honest about where you really are, that's the first step out of the 99%. Ever notice how we're really good at coming up with logical reasons not to do something? I don't have enough experience. The timing's just not right. I need to do more research first. Sounds smart, right? Sounds responsible. But let me tell you something most people never realize. That's not logic. That's fear wearing a lab coat. It's fear pretending to be rational. Because deep down, we're afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of judgment. Afraid that we're not enough. So instead of admitting we're scared, we create excuses that sound reasonable. You know what's wild? Psychologists call this rationalization. It's a defense mechanism. Your brain literally protects your ego from discomfort by dressing fear up as smart decision-making. But let me ask you this. If your logic always leads you to do nothing, is it really logic? Here's the truth. Courage often sounds crazy. Quitting the job, starting the business, putting your art online, reaching out to that mentor. These things rarely feel logical, but they're how people break the cycle. The top 1%, they still feel fear, but they don't let it dress up and make decisions for them. So next time your brain gives you a list of logical reasons to stay where you are, ask yourself, is this my mind talking, or is this fear doing a really good impression of it? Here's the part no one tells you. Comfort is dangerous, not because it feels bad, but because it feels good enough. You've got just enough money to get by. You're not totally miserable. You've convinced yourself that things could be worse. And that's where the trap is. Comfort doesn't scream at you like failure does. It whispers. It says, hey, don't rock the boat. This is safe. This is fine. But guess what? Fine is where dreams go to die. People don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they settle. And here's the kicker. The longer you stay comfortable, the harder it is to move. It's like sitting on a couch for years and then trying to run a marathon. Your ambition atrophies. You stop thinking big. You stop taking risks. And one day, you wake up realizing you've built a perfectly average life when you were meant for so much more. Do this. Look around your life right now and ask, is this my dream? Or is this just what I've gotten used to? If it's not your dream, get uncomfortable. That's where growth starts. The top 1%, they seek discomfort like it's a training ground because they know comfort is a killer and clarity only comes when you step into the unknown. Let's clear this up once and for all. Motivation is a liar. Everyone's out there chasing motivation like it's the secret sauce to success. I just need to feel more inspired. Once I'm motivated, I'll start. Sound familiar? Here's the cold, honest truth. The people you look up to, they don't rely on motivation. They show up whether they feel like it or not. Because motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Let's break it down. Motivation is great for starting. But if you want to finish, if you want to win, you need systems, discipline, and a clear why. Think of motivation like your phone battery. It drains fast. But a power outlet? That's structure, habits, and purpose. That's what keeps things running. Look at athletes, entrepreneurs, creators. They don't bounce out of bed every morning excited to grind. They just train themselves to do the work anyway. Motivation gets you hyped. Discipline gets you results. So next time you catch yourself saying, "I'm just not motivated right now," ask yourself, if my future depended on this, would I still wait? Because spoiler alert, it does. All right, this one hits deep. Most people, they don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're lost. Think about it. You ask someone what they want out of life, and you'll hear vague answers like, "I just want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want more money." But what does that actually mean? Success how? Happy doing what? More money for what purpose? If your goal is blurry, your actions will be aimless. And if you don't have clarity, how do you expect to create a roadmap? Imagine getting in a car and saying, "Take me somewhere nice." You might end up at a beach or in the middle of nowhere. But if you said, "Take me to 123 Sunset Drive, Malibu, California," then boom, the GPS can get to work. It's the same with your goals. Push bin what should be included here. Examples of vague versus clear goals. The psychological impact of clarity, decision fatigue, procrastination, etc. The connection between vision and motivation systems in the brain, dopamine loops, reward tracking. Blue book example. Vague, I want to be in shape. Clear, I want to lose 10 kilograms in 3 months, working out 4 days a week, eating 1,800 calories a day. That second one, that's a plan. That's trackable. That's executable. So here's your challenge. Stop chasing better. Start defining what better looks like for you. If you're feeling stuck, maybe it's not because you're not doing enough. Maybe it's because you don't even know what you're doing it for. Here's the cold truth. Most people aren't failing. They're just quitting right before it starts working. Success has a lag time. It's like planting a seed. You water it, give it sunlight, take care of the soil, but for weeks, nothing happens. Then suddenly, boom, a sprout breaks through the dirt. But imagine if you walked away on day 29, not knowing the breakthrough was coming on day 30. That it's normal to not see immediate results. That they're not alone in feeling stuck. That staying consistent is the secret weapon. Most people are 3 feet from gold, but they put down the shovel. So next time you feel like giving up, ask yourself, am I failing or am I just not finished yet? You know what's wild? Fear doesn't just paralyze people, it guides them. They let fear be the compass. And guess where fear always points? Backwards. Common fears that silently control people. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of looking stupid, fear of losing money, fear of starting over. The brain is wired to keep you safe, not successful. That's why anything unknown feels dangerous, even if it's your dream. Reframe fear, this not as a wall, but a signal. If it scares you, it's probably the direction you need to go. There's a guy who spent 2 years designing the perfect product but never launched. Why? Because deep down, he was terrified that no one would buy it. Fear is like a car alarm, loud and annoying, but not always signaling real danger. You're not supposed to kill fear. You're supposed to walk with it. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Joseph Campbell. Think about this. How many times have you said no? Not because you couldn't, but because you were scared of what might happen? That's not you being logical. That's fear running the show behind the scenes. What if the worst-case scenario isn't failing, but never even trying? You ever feel like you're doing everything, but getting nowhere? 1 week, you're starting a YouTube channel. Next week, you're into crypto. Then it's drop shipping. And somehow, you end up burned out, broke, and back at square one. That's not laziness. That's overload. See, most people don't fail because they don't have ideas. They fail because they have too many, and they chase all of them at the same time. Here's the truth. Focus is a superpower. Every successful person you know, they picked one thing and went all in. Mr. Beast didn't do YouTube, real estate, crypto, and a podcast all at once. He obsessed over one thing for years. If you're always switching lanes, how can you expect to reach the finish line? Pick a lane. Get obsessed. Tune everything else out. Because when you chase 10 things, you end up catching none. Okay, real talk. When was the last time you actually measured how far you've come? Most people just wing it. They go to the gym, eat a salad here and there, work a little, but they never track anything. No numbers, no milestones, no real feedback. And here's the kicker. What doesn't get measured doesn't get improved. Think of it like driving without a speedometer or GPS. You feel like you're moving, but you don't know how fast or where you're headed. Successful people, they treat their life like a science experiment. They write things down. They set daily goals. They check in with themselves, weekly, monthly, relentlessly. Because progress isn't about doing more. It's about knowing what works and doubling down on that. So if you're not tracking, you're just guessing. And guesswork, that's a recipe for failure. Want to win? Start measuring. All right, here's the cold truth. Most people fail simply because they quit right before the magic happens. They try something for a week, maybe a month, and when results don't show up immediately, they bounce. But success? It's a long game. And most of the time, the greatest progress happens after you feel like giving up. There's a reason people say it's darkest before dawn, because it really is. The resistance gets loudest right before you break through. Let me give you an example. Ever heard about Colonel Sanders? Dude got rejected over 1,000 times before someone believed in his fried chicken recipe. 1,000. Most people can't handle 3 rejections, let alone 1,000. But that's what separates the 1% from the rest. They don't stop. They learn. They adapt. They push through. So if you're thinking of quitting, let this be your sign not to. You're probably closer than you think. And if you stick around just a little longer, you might finally see what you've been working for all along. And there it is. Now you know why most people never make it. And more importantly, how you can be the exception. Look, success isn't about luck. It's about showing up when no one else will. It's about doing the boring stuff, the hard stuff, the stuff no one claps for, until one day they do. If this video lit a fire in you, don't let it fade. Fire hit that like button to let me know you're part of the 1%. Speech balloon, drop a comment. What's one thing you're changing starting today? Push pin and make sure you subscribe, because we're just getting started and you're not doing this alone. This is Elevate Loop and your rise starts now. See you in the next one. Don't just survive, elevate.